On October 17th, 2007, I was your average high-tech marketing director, working in the Silicon Valley, working crazy hours, loving my job, really enjoying what I did, but really pushing myself very hard. A small hitch in my throat every time I would swallow, causing food to get stuck, got my wife very nervous. And so my wife forced me to go to the doctor. And so I got a call 24 hours after that, literally in my cube at NetApp, and I got a call on my BlackBerry, and they said, "Can you talk?" And as I was walking towards my, private phone carol, they said, "You have cancer." We as quickly as possible, went out and got as many referrals and references as we can and consultations about how to treat the cancer. We soon found it was gastric cancer or stomach cancer. After going through several consultations, we decided to get treatment at Stanford's Comprehensive Cancer Center.
So JP was a new patient of mine. Soon after he got diagnosed, actually, with stomach cancer, he got referred to me by his surgeon to talk about what might be the next steps for him, even before he had a surgery. So I walked into an examining room, and JP and his 8-month pregnant wife were waiting there, and pretty nervous, as you can imagine.
When I was first diagnosed, I did what I think anyone in a similar situation would do, is I tried to find as much information as I can. The way I do that is the net. So I went out and I did searches, and the information I got back was dated, was inconsistent, and was extremely negative.
So at one of his clinic visits, this was now after JP had gone through a big surgery, a lot of chemotherapy and radiation treatment, and was starting to recover and feel better, he said, I just feel like there's not much information out there for patients like me who are going through this kind of treatment. So he said, what do you think about starting maybe a website or even a foundation to try to help new patients deal and cope with everything that they're going to go through in this treatment? But it really spiraled from there to thinking about, could we actually help support research that could even impact gastric cancer? And he just took it from there.
And one of the problems with gastric cancer, because again, it only affects a relatively small amount of Americans every year, is no one's centralized the data of what are people's early signs, symptoms, is there any link to gender, ethnicity, age, what are those big aggregate trends in the disease? No one's actually aggregated that data to go analyze and research. So what we've realized is we need to actually build a database or a registry so that doctors and researchers from around the country and ultimately around the world could use that to identify hypotheses and go test against it.
So I started talking with JP about how that's a really challenging thing. One of the reasons this hasn't been done so often is that it's hard to get strong resources around gathering data, and the need for lots of storage for that.
The first thing that popped into my mind is, well, who's the best company in the world to house and to store databases? And that's NetApp. It's a no-brainer. And then as the organization started to think, okay, well, we'll build this registry, we'll do kind of database analysis, and then we'll start doing sequencing, I started to think about, wow, high-performance computing, capability of high-throughput systems. Again, who does that best in the world? NetApp. I was a little concerned that I wasn't asking for one small shelf of a 2000 series system. I was going to be asking for a pretty big, very robust hardware, software, services solution.
Well, JP came to me one day and said he wanted to have a meeting. And we got together and he told me a little bit about what he was trying to accomplish. And when he told me about it, I thought, it's amazing to me how JP has turned a life-threatening illness and a tremendous challenge in his own life into an opportunity to help others. And when he talked about what he wanted to try to accomplish and the passion he's bringing to it, it was an easy answer to say, yes, how can I help? This donation to the Gastric Cancer Fund is the largest in-kind donation NetApp's ever made.
I was just amazed that it was never a question of if, it was just a question of when. And how much not only the organization wanted to support me, but was really kind of proud that I was doing it. We spent several days sitting down with the researchers at Stanford, not only the scientists, but also the IT folks at Stanford, and saying what are their data set needs, what are their requirements from a technology perspective, and soon it became apparent we need specialists to help us from the NetApp side. So we're very fortunate that the account team, the account leadership team at Stanford, led by Joe Tarantino, was able to really be the primary point of contact of managing the account, but then also pulling in resources from the professional services side to come in, the folks that really understood how to build and construct that database, that registry, and how to optimize that system for the genomics work that we wanted to go do.
Working with JP and working with our executive team and working with the professional services team out of the Western sales area, it's just been awesome to witness all the people who have stepped up, offered their own personal time, volunteer time, even when it really doesn't relate to what they do on a day-to-day basis. It's been extremely, just great to be around people who are willing to offer so much assistance to a great cause and really did it, just gone above and beyond the call of duty.
One of the things that NetApp has been so great about is think about the other possibilities, right? What else can we do to make this progress faster and make it more extensive? It really goes back to going further, going faster, right? How can we do that, going beyond?
As I think about how NetApp can help the Gastric Cancer Fund and moving forward, as we continue to collaborate with Stanford and the work that they are doing, and others that are working on this disease, we certainly want to continue to support it in any way we can. So my expectation is that NetApp will continue to do more as we're asked to participate even further in the Gastric Cancer Fund.
When I think about the long-term vision of the Gastric Cancer Fund and where we will be 5, 10, 15 years from now, it's hard to kind of deal in those specifics. But I have a goal, and it really is, someday we're going to shut this thing down, right? Because we're going to solve gastric cancer. And someday we won't need the Gastric Cancer Fund anymore.